Good morning again, and welcome. Don't forget our YouTube, will you? Today I want to take the text of this morning's reading for Mass, the Gospel. And I want to take it because it's a pretty direct and heavy session. And the context is, according to Matthew, we're now in the last week of Jesus' life. It's almost hidden, but there are a lot of teachings and things that Jesus gives in the temple. And he gives this to the many, many pilgrims who are gathering in Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover. He's giving it to his disciples, who are obviously gathered there. This is the last week. Things are building up. And also sprinkled among the crowd would be scribes and Pharisees, the religious leaders. And this is in the context of the temple itself. And so if you can just imagine it, Jesus, I think, is directing himself mainly to the people and the disciples to try and make them aware of the religious circumstances in which they are living. And Jesus said, "Alas for you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, but look handsome on the outside, but inside are full of dead men's bones and every kind of corruption. In the same way, you appear to people from the outside to be honest men, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Alas for you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You who build the sepulchres of the prophets and decorate the tombs of holy men, saying, 'We would never have joined in shedding the blood of prophets had we lived in our father's day.' So your own evidence tells against you. You are the sons of those who killed the prophets. Very well then, finish off the work that your fathers began." Now that's tough stuff, I think. And I just imagine the context and how the scribes and the Pharisees would probably have reacted, but also how the people would have reacted, hearing this said about their religious leaders. Because Jesus says to them straight out, "You're hypocrites, you're corrupt, and you're lawless." If there was one thing that stirred Jesus in his ministry to strong reaction, was hypocrisy. And I don't think Jesus here is condemning the scribes and Pharisees because they're weak or because they're sinful. Jesus always loved the sinner and helped the sinner. But it's when that sinner is a hypocrite, when he is corrupt, and a corrupt leader corrupts those who follow. Or likewise, lawless. And for a Jew to be called lawless is not very nice. The Jews the strict Jews anyhow, prided themselves on following the law of Moses in every detail. And they've added I don't know how many laws. They made a total of 600 and something laws to be a good Jew. And we remember Jesus ran against that several times when his disciples picked the grains of wheat on the Sabbath. Or when Jesus healed a person with a withered hand or a lady with a curved spine on the Sabbath. Or when Jesus touched the leper to heal him. They're all against the laws. And so Jesus is trying to make the people and the disciples aware of what he has said previously, do what they say, but don't do what they do. And I often think of homilies when I think of that, and maybe even my own situation here today. Hopefully, I am sharing something of the good news authentically, something of what Jesus wanted to communicate and make present amongst the people of his time. But I'm not holding myself up as a paragon of virtue. And I'd like to think that Jesus doesn't condemn me because of my failings, that he loves me in those failings, but also that what I share has validity. And finally, the last part of that text, where Jesus accuses the scribes and Pharisees to be murderers like their fathers. And he says, and they protest, but if we had been there in the times of our fathers, we would never have participated in the shedding of the blood of prophets. And Jesus says, your own evidence tells against you. Because the Jews were in a society of honor and shame. And it was expected that the sons would follow their fathers. It was expected that the Jews would do what the society expected. And so to say that we are law-abiding, but we would not have participated in the death of the prophets is a contradiction and speaks against them. So just to remember that when we listen to homilies, when we listen to preachers, when we listen to sermons, listen to the message. Try and hear the message clearly and take in the message as being, if it's a valid, a good message, it will nourish you. And don't let that depend on the validity or the authenticity or the honesty of the preacher. I'm speaking for myself, of course. Thanks. God bless.